number one. Point number two, watch and wait. Point number three, prepare yourself for Judgment Day. By way of introduction, there is a curiosity to know that what will happen after life. After a year ago, I was driving past a cemetery, and as I drove past it, it suddenly dawned on me that every human being on the face of the earth has an expiration date. Quintessentially, every person under the sound of my voice has an appointment with death. Yes. Whether or not you confirmed it. The story was told that death visited a man. And when death visited the man, he was not ready to go. So he decided to trick Mr. Death. So he invited Death inside his house, and he began to be very cordial to Mr. Death. And after his great hospitality, it was too late. So Death says he will stay the night. Death stayed the night, and in the wee hour of the morning, at some point the man woke up and he erased his name from the top of the list, and he placed his name at the bottom of the list. Mr. Death woke up in the morning and he said, "You've been so kind to me. I'm not going to start at the top of the list, but I'm going to start at the bottom of the list." Dear friends and brethren, you cannot escape death. Importantly, the questions I would like to propose this afternoon are, what will happen to you after death? Where will you spend your eternity? Are you heaven bound or are you hell bound? Are you on the Lord's side? What will your answer be? I think the mic needs a little bit more bass. It's a little bit flat. Sorry. But before I go into the depth of the message, I just want to give you a brief synopsis of the text. In 2 Peter 3, Peter addresses fruitful growth in the Christian faith. He addresses trustworthy prophetic word, and he addressed destructive doctrines. He addressed deception of false prophet. He addressed God's condemnation of false teaching. You see, Peter the apostle was a part of what you call the inner circle. He was the spokesman of the 12. Peter was the disciple that confessed Christ as the Son of God. It was Peter that walked on the water. Peter was the first apostle who saw Jesus after the resurrection. But here in 2 Peter 3, he says, "Beloved, I now write unto you in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance, that ye may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets, and of the commandments of us, the apostles of the Lord and Savior, knowing this first," hear what he says, "that there shall come in the last days scoffers," which leads me to my first point: beware of false doctrine. Peter introduces us to scoffers who were questioning the certainty of God's return. Who is a scoffer? A scoffer is one who ridicules or scorns. You see, Peter was preaching at a time when there was a lot of false prophets. False teaching was on the rise. There was a rapid expansion of false religion that denied the deity of Christ, and the numeric explosion of those who identified themselves as agnostics and atheists. These scoffers heap scorn and ridicule on the message of the gospel, but yet they live in lust. These false teachers were polluting the message of the second coming of Jesus Christ. They were directly opposing the apostolic preaching and always include the second coming of Christ as the ultimate fulfillment of the prophets of the Old Testament. These scoffers were trying to convince the believers that there will be no second coming, no judgment day, no hell, no Hades. Oh, glory be to God. You see, they wanted to shake the belief of the believers. They wanted them to focus on preparing. They wanted them rather not to focus on preparing themselves for the Lord's return. They wanted the believers to lose focus. They wanted to distract them. You see, we're experiencing it now. We are told that Jesus is not the only way. Oh, Larry King was interviewing a well-known, renowned preacher, and at that time there was over millions of people watching CNN, and the question Larry King asked him is Jesus the only way? And he smirked and he says, Larry, I don't know if I'm in the position to answer that. I don't really know if Jesus is the only way, but maybe there are other ways to Jesus. He had his moment, oh glory be to God, but he messed up his moment. But I came to tell somebody that Jesus is the only way. He's the truth and he is the life. You see, he wanted to think that truth is relative. He wanted to tell us that we can get to heaven by just good works. He wanted to tell us that we can live anyhow and still get to heaven. Oh, glory be to God. He wants to bamboozle the believer not to coming into a true understanding of who the Messiah, the anointed one, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, that came that you and I can have life and have it more abundantly. Because you see, he is, oh glory be to God, the vine, and we are the branches. Oh glory be to God. He is the one, oh glory be to God, that paid the price for us. Oh glory be to God. And there is no other way but the way of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. There's no other way. It's only the way of Jesus Christ. Don't allow false teaching, false doctrine to hinder you from getting into heaven. For the Bible says this saying is true. Therefore, rebuke sharply, so that they will be sound in the faith and will pay no attention to Jewish myths or to merely human commands or those who reject the truth. He said in 1 John 4 verse 1, Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits, whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Matthew 7:15, he says, Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Don't allow allow false doctrine and false prophet to allow you to miss the second coming. Oh, glory be to God. I came by to tell the church this afternoon that Jesus is coming soon. The King is coming. I don't know about you. Oh, glory be to God, but I know the King is coming. You see, it is next to impossible for false teacher to mess you up when you establish a relationship with Jesus Christ. Your understanding of God shouldn't just be based on theory, but it should be a practical thing. You see, the manifestation of the power of God must be demonstrated in the life of the believer. Do you have a testimony? Some people have been coming to church for a long time, but they don't have no testimony. But the Bible said we overcome by our testimony. Oh, glory be to God. Sometimes when you go through the theory and you go through all of the crap, you can't begin to understand or fathom who Jesus is. But when you have a relationship with the Almighty God, nobody can bamboozle you, nobody can fool you, nobody can talk crap to you, no one can come with foolishness, because you know who God is, because you tried Him for yourself. I don't know about you, but I can pull out a few testimony. Oh, glory be to God. I remember the time when I went to the doctor with Malachi, and they said that he would not be able to speak or to understand. You see, you now see Malachi in his glory up here looking good, playing his bass and keeping quiet, because you see, you come in on the miracle. But there was a time when Malachi was 3 years old, and I can see Misha lifting her hands because she knew Malachi, and all Malachi could do is look on the wall and make dumb noise. Malachi at that time, glory be to God, would walk out in the road if you don't hold his hand. There was a time when I was doing youth ministry, and I was doing youth ministry, and they had a little picnic at the Downsview Park, and I left Malachi with one of the leaders, and they forgot because of how he looked that he was going through. Oh, glory be to God. And they let him go, not watching him, and he disappeared. I was right there doing youth ministry. I said, where is Malachi? They said, I don't know. I said, do you understand that if you call him, he's not going to come? Do you understand where we are in the park? How are we going to find him in this park? We don't know where he's gone. Glory be to God. But God knew that I was in business for the King. So I heard the voices, go down by the water where the stream is. You will see him playing in the park. Oh, glory be to God. When I got there, Malachi was right there. Oh, glory be to God. There was a time when we had to drive to Georgetown to get him to sleep, because all night long he would jump up in the bed and make funny noise. But I came by to tell you that Malachi is no longer in a special program. He's going to an ordinary school, and he's in a regular class. Glory be to God, and he's understanding. I can go by and tell you that look what the Lord has done. It's not theory, but it's practical. Glory be to God. You're looking at the goodness of the Lord, and the path has not been told, and the best is yet to come. You don't see nothing yet, because God is working it up. Do you know God for yourself? Oh, glory be to God. You see, some of you have not begun to comprehend who God is. You see, some people begin to, oh God, to understand God in their little mind. And some people, Alabashanda, has made God into a miniature thing. Oh, glory be to God. Some people don't understand who we serve. Some people have not begun to fathom, oh, glory be to God, the capacity that the Lord Jesus omnipotent, He's omniscient, He's omnipresent, He's Alpha, He's Omega, the beginning, the end. Science can't understand Him. The scientists can't understand Him. Oh, glory be to God, because He's bigger than science, bigger than mathematics. Oh, glory be to God. This unknown God transcends time. He's bigger than time. That's why He can stop time. He can go ahead of time, beyond time, in time, around time, because He is God all by Himself. So when false prophet and false teaching come your way, you must be able to say, back it up, David. I know who God is. Halabashanta. But I want you to run move quickly to point number 2. Watch and wait. But what he says in verse 8, he says, but beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. The problem that we face, the problem that they face, was that they were utilizing the time frame to determine the validity of this statement. You see, there's a well-known adage that states that time is the master of everything. And another one that states that time will tell. You see, delay will always test the validity of your faith. Many will say that we've been waiting on the second coming some 2,000 years. Believers often face defeat whenever there's a waiting involved. Believers always have a problem waiting, and Satan always capitalizes on our inability to wait on God. Whenever God is delayed, mankind always turns to sin. We just can't wait on God. We live in an era now where everything has to be quick. Oh, glory be to God. DJ Nicholas sing a song. He says, step by step by step. Not because somebody drive a beamer, you must drive one too. Oh, glory be to God. Not because somebody move in a mansion, it's your time to move too. There is a thing called season, and if it's not your season, it's not your time, and it's not your turn. But if you continue waiting, your season and your time and your turn is going to come. Oh, glory be to God. But as a believer, you must say, I don't mind waiting. I don't mind waiting on God. Oh, glory be to God. Delay don't mean danger, but you've got to learn how to wait. But the Bible says, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like an eagle. They shall walk and not be weary. They shall run and not faint. You got to learn how to wait. Believers, learn how to wait. It's not you don't see it coming, but you gotta watch and wait. Wait in God. It doesn't matter how you look, wait. Mandorabosata. Wait on him. Don't give up on God. He's not going to give up on you. Oh, glory be to God. Oh, my Shanda. You got to stay and wait. The problem that the church is facing is that we've been hearing about the second coming for so long that we have dropped the standard of our faith and our love for kingdom and our love for God and our love for the things of God, because you know what? We anticipate that it's not going to be anytime soon. But what if he doesn't come and you drop dead? You know what happened to me this year? I was in Florida and I died. And God brought me back to life again. Yes, I died. Oh, glory be to God. So I learned to live my life like it's my last day living. Because I don't know when my time, oh, glory be to God, is going to come. But per adventure, oh, glory be to God, I'm not praying for it to happen. Oh, glory be to God. But I want to make sure that my calling is on election. So I don't have time to keep malice. I don't have time